In this video we are constructing the Primaris Bladeguard Captain from the Indomitus Boxset. Welcome to the Winter Disco tabletop gaming channel where we look at everything Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Dungeons & Dragons and a whole bunch of other tabletop and role-playing games. That's right, we have the Indomitus Boxset and now we are going through the models. So in this video, like I said, before the break, we're going to put together the Primaris Captain. I love this model. And there's a few choices we have to make. So before we do, let's look at the instructions. So what do we got here? First up, we've got to choose some heads. So you get the choice of 3 heads in that, and we'll come back to that in a second. But you also get to choose different bases. So you have the main rocky base, and then which has the Necron on it. It's always good to have a dead Necron. I think I'm going to choose that one. But then you have another little bit of rock there, which is, if we look on here, if I can see where it is, I can't actually see it. So this is the main base that glues onto the base there. Kind of an interesting way of doing it, and we'll have a look at that when we put the base together. We also have this little rocky texture as well, which is kind of cool to have anyway. Either way, you're going to have an extra bit, which is kind of cool. So, like I said, we need to decide on a head, but I'm going to go for this base. I really do like that base. I think that's pretty cool. Alright, so heads. We have a choice of 3 heads and we need to choose that first up. So, choices. We have the bear head there, which is a pretty cool bear head. Let's see if I can get any focus. I don't think I can get any closer than that, so sorry if it's a bit small. Then we have the head with the full mask on, or the full helmet. Or we have the funky one, which is in all the press shots, which is the sort of the face guard that's been moved up or pushed up. So I'm actually going to go for that one. I like it. I think it's cool. And of course that means we get 2 extra heads. A bear head and a helmeted head, which is kind of cool. Alright, so let's cut this out. So this is basically the idea for this series, is that it's almost like a follow along. Or you can watch beforehand. I got a lot of comments on the Illuminal Xerath video that people liked that I was pointing out things in the build and any issues that came up or any problems I had. So I'm going to do this like sort of unedited maybe, and just we're going to build it. So it's kind of cool. So first up, we need a head, of course, but then we need a D1 and D5. So on the sprue, we have D1 there, which is the front of the body, and then the back of the body, which is D5 down here, and a head. So let's kind of head out first. Right. So, and also in this video, it's going to be pretty chilled out. I hope you're all doing well and getting stuck into the Indomitus Boxset and having a good old time with it. This is the first mod I'm actually cutting out of it, so I'm interested to see how it goes. Right, so let's give those a bit of a clean up first. Where's all my tools? So I've got some tools, various different tools. Got a drill so I can drill some barrels out. Maybe, I'm not a big fan of drilling barrels out. I know people that's saying like, you have to drill barrels, but I don't think that it's 100% necessary. Alright, so usually I take a fair bit of time cleaning up the models, like that's not even required. But the sprues themselves look pretty good. Of course you always get a little bit there on the head. That's fine. I think the design of this is actually very suited to sprues and like the 2-part molds. That's cool. I do like the detail of this. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this box set. I do have a whole bunch of videos that'll be out and about on the internet, on the channel. So yeah, not too bad. So it looks like there's not too much going on here. Sometimes I'll come back in and cut it up, but generally, you know, it'll be fine. I've also got to try and keep this in camera as well. So I think this is a spot where you do want to take some care. We'll use the trusty old sprue remover. Let's see how that goes. So it looks a bit dodgy, but that's fine. We also have some other tools. We got a file there and another file here. So while I want to take care with all of this, I also want to make sure the video doesn't go too long. So I may cut bits out here and there, but also just want to get a lot of these done as quick as possible. And any bits that I can see I might come back and fix up later. Okay, so, forgot about this one. Always got to check for sprues. So the sprues on this one, or the sprue edges on this one seem to be fairly innocuous place. So these two here, get it in the camera, is generally where it's going to be. And that's pretty standard for most Space Marine models. It's right on the edge of that bit of the body. And then we do have that little bit on the circle there, which is kind of an annoying bit because it's... I always seem to cut that off. Alright, I'm just changing position. God, so I can actually see what I'm doing. That's better. I'm not used to doing stuff in front of a camera or this kind of model work, but we will get there. Alright, so let's just get on with this. As the sprue lines aren't too bad. I guess everyone's is going to be slightly different. Just the nature of different castings, how old the what do they call it? The mold is. That's what it is. A mold. So I might go in here with a smaller knife. So you do have the skulls here to be careful of. And we'll cut that down. So that looks nice. Not perfect, but this side is, as far as I'm aware, yeah, this is his left arm, and this is the one he's holding the shield, so you're generally not always going to see this bit, so, you know, it depends how much work you want to do on that end. Okay, so we've got to put the head in, but we'll also check the sprue. So, normally, I would cut a little bit of that, if I can get in there, hang on, let me get a pointer. Trying to get it into focus. So that little knobbly bit there, it slides into, hitting the camera, into that bit there. So there's a few ways that you can actually solve this. You can just try and jam it in all the way, but because we're using glue, this is like a really tight fit. And I've seen this on a lot of the other easy to build models with this kind of peg system. I usually cut that bit out. So that's what I'm going to do. I've also seen that you can cut this bit, but I'm a bit nervous to cut that out. But we also got to remember to put the head in. So this is a bit more difficult. So you just need to cut a little bit out. It just allows the glue to sit in there. All right. So also go back to the rules, just so we're referring to this. So the head is going to sit in, and then the body slides in to do that. So before we put the glue in, let's double check that this fits. Don't want to lose the head yet. So usually with these easy to build kits, the head will have a specific orientation, and there is like a little notch. Seems like there's a little notch right at the back. Don't know if you can see it there, but it may slide into there. It's a little bit interesting. Let's just bring it back again. See which way he's facing. So he's facing towards that shield when we put it on there. So that's kind of the position there. So let's put some glue on in this little bit. I want to know your thoughts on the Citadel glue. I always have a problem with it drying up. I have tons around at the moment, like I've got 2 more here, and I just find that they dry up too quickly. There's still plenty of glue in there, but I have a problem of actually getting out. After a bit of physical violence with it, it seems to be okay, but there's always a little bit of a struggle. So it looks like that's enough there. So it looks like there's enough contact points there. Let's see if this actually goes together. Okay, there we go. I was a bit worried for a second. Bring this back up. The 2 points there, if you can see it, the 2 yellow points where you have the peg and then the sort of, I guess, grippy hand for the head, we're very close together. So that could be an issue. I didn't have an issue there, and that was fine, but that could be a problem. Okay, next up, D7, so D6, D7, D8. So we need the arm, the sword arm, and the, what are they called? They have a name, and a roundel? Let's just say it's a chest guard. That's fine. So we need to go, if I get the numbers the correct way around. So we need D6, which is this one here. Let's cut that little puppy out. We also need D7, which is the arm. Luckily, with this one, there's not that many parts, so it's going to be pretty straightforward to do. And then we have a D9, which is here. This one looks a little bit more tight, so I might cut that. I think I stuffed that up a bit. Let's just double check that one. No, I did that okay. So that one looked a little difficult. It has a thick contact point, so that's something to probably watch out for. But, you know, we get there. But it does seem to come together really nice. So tools wise, I'm always jumping back between the knife and the sprue thing. I like this because it's not always the best because it seems to dig in sometimes, but I find that sometimes I do need to get a bit more grip on it, and I find I can actually hold it easier. Because of the angle of it, because it's flat at that stage, the spot where you're doing it seems to work better. Okay, so we've got that arm. Now let's get rid of that. I'm just going to chop a little bit off there. And yeah, it's sometimes always better to leave more plastic on. Ooh, almost a bit tight there. And you kind of want to get this nice and round. And you can feel it. You run your fingernail over it, you can feel what the issue is if you've got an issue. Alright, that seems to be okay, and I want to file that a little bit. Okay, that seems to feel okay. Oh, okay, so there's a possible issue there while I'm banging the camera. This little canister of something, I never know what they have. It's pretty loose. It's a pretty small joint there, so something to look out for. So I'll try and not knock it again. Just want to tidy this up. Okay. And this is part of the, what are we going to call it? Purity seal. There's a purity seal that wraps around his entire arm. So that seems to be okay. I just got to be careful with that one. So yeah, there you go. Be careful with that bit there. But at the end of the day, you can just stick it back on or cut it off completely, because I don't even know where that is on the model. So that's hiding behind the shield, it looks like. So it's not too bad. I like the new curved nature of a lot of these bits of armor. I think that it's a different design. You don't usually expect to curve stuff on Space Marines other than like the shoulder pads, the knee pads, and basically all the armor. But not these kind of little curves that aren't really that necessary. It's a nice little flourish though, I like it. Okay, we're getting there now. So it looks like this model's not going to take too long to put together. I think more people could probably do it quicker. They might cut out all the bits first and then go for it, but I usually find that that's a little bit too difficult. I usually end up making mistakes when I do that. It's okay, I might come back and fix that up later. But that looks like the arm's okay, and we've got everything else. So let's do this one first. So I'm just going to test fit it. Let's see how it goes, if I can actually get it in the right spot. So it doesn't seem to lock in at all. So I'm not 100%. Oh yeah, it kind of. There we go. That's it there. So you wiggle it a bit, it'll go into the spot there. But what we'll do, we will cut off just a little tiny bit, just enough, and we'll try and piece that together. because it did start to come apart, but you're not really going to see that bit anyway. So yeah, see, this is to do, there's a little, I don't know if you can see, there's a little gap there. Let's see if I can get it in so you can see it. When you push it together, it does lock in, but then it does seem to go apart again. And that's to do with the little peg system. Sometimes they just, if you don't cut off enough or you haven't opened it up enough, the glue sort of creates a bit too much pressure and pushes out. But that's just part of the system, so that should be enough. So let's just put a little bit on the peg there, and we will put this arm in, and there it goes. Okay, there was a little bit of a click that time. I'm not sure if you heard it. Might not. Okay, so we've got the arm on, and yeah, again, that's really flimsy, but that will be all right. Now, let's see what's going to be the best way to do this. So normally the arm is more that way, so I think it seems to go like that. Let's see if I can bring it closer. I'm not sure how far away everything is when I'm filming, so it's a bit difficult, but we'll be alright. So I'm not sure if we should put that in. I think the arm goes in first, and then we can put the shoulder, old chest thing in. So let's cut that a bit, and the arm fell off, which happens because I haven't let it wait to glue properly. I'm always a little bit impatient when it comes to this part, but that's alright. So I might actually cut a little bit more off, just to get a bit more of a contact point in there. If I can get there. Sometimes it's a little difficult. I just don't want to ruin the peg entirely, so I might cut a bit down the bottom. Okay, that should do. Yeah, because I just don't want to ruin that peg, and then there's nothing for it to actually go into the arm. So, there we go. Yeah, it takes a bit of fiddling, but then it just seems to pop into place, and you'll definitely feel it when it goes in. Yes, that's what she said. Alright, so I'm just going to hold it in for a second. So this model, really, I think the Chaplain is my favourite model in the whole kit, but this model is pretty cool. The Bladeguard veterans are pretty cool. Right. So, seems to be, so I'm just looking at this bit, let's get something I can point with. So you've got the peg there, but also a little bit extra that seems to snap into the shoulder, or the armpit. So again, we'll cut a little bit out here. Ooh, that went flying. Don't know where that was. And I didn't test fit it either. That was a mistake. I should have test fitted that. Now I have no idea if it's going to fit properly. I feel like it needs to go in. It looks like, yeah, so that needed a little bit of a push to go in, but it went in without really too much hassle. So you do have a little bit there. Feels like, sorry, get that back in the camera. Yeah, so you got that little bit extra bit. So you do have a little bit more contact point that you can stick there if you're having problems of getting into the peg hole. All right, that's nice. So now we're getting there. We've got a little man. He's mostly there without a hand. So now we need to put the shield on. So we need D10 and D11 to get the skeleton boy. So D10 and D11. So the shield first. Let's cut that off. And just be careful around his arm, because the top bit we'll see, and I'll try not to knock the camera all the time. Alright, so we've got the shield, and now we need the skeleton boy. So this is a little bit delicate. Oh, yeah, that's something to look out for. Almost chopped his head off completely. I keep hitting the camera. Oh, yeah, this one's fairly delicate, so I wouldn't cut it that way. I would probably leave the head till last. So I'm just thinking, you can see that, how little contact is there, just a little bit. So this is going to be kind of difficult. You know what? I'm going to leave that bit on there for now, that little bit of sprue, and I'm going to stick it on. I'm going to do the other bits because I just feel like I'm just going to snap that off. But what we will do, we will cut some other bits off. And with this, I shouldn't have to say, but always have a sharp knife. And I don't know if my knife's sharp enough. It's a fairly new blade, but it could be a little bit sharper. So this is probably the most delicate part of the whole bit. So something to look out for. And you do want to get this bit nice and smooth because it is part of the parchment or the purity seal. So yeah, that bit came off fairly easily. But where are we going here? So yeah, there's a few contact points there, but it's not too bad. You just got to be a little bit delicate with it. And yeah, I'm not going to touch that yet. Alright, the shield, pretty straightforward, it's straight lines. And even if you make dents, it's fine. You can make that look like, oh yeah, it's part of the battle. That's not too bad. And we're almost getting there. Let's move this up a bit. So that's a bit of a chunky bit there that we will try and get off, and I cut way too much there. Yeah, that's, you can kind of tell, but that's alright. Alright, let's just get rid of these mold lines. It's not too bad on straight bits. You can cut them off pretty easily. And occasionally I'll just blow the bits off out of there. And we're almost done. A little bit more. Ah, that's right, there's one on the top too. Forgot about that one. I'll just scrape that back a bit. And a little bit there, and I did that bit already. There is a little bit of mold lines just in that bit, so it's a circle bit, which is fine. You can run that through there, and that's not the best way to do it, but it seems to work, so. Okay, so let's put this skeleton boy on, and then, thinking I'm gonna have to try and do it. I'm nervous. If I hold it by the head, I should be okay. And if it does snap off, it's not that big a deal. We can glue it in, but I prefer not to have to do that. So I might just file it down. So yeah, this bit definitely is, that's fine, that'll do fine. Yeah, this bit is probably the hardest bit. Let's just want to cut that nub down a bit. Oh, that was a bit too much. I just want to get like a fraction of a millimeter off. Oh, that's too much. I can't quite. That'll do. Yep, that'll do. And then I'll just get a little corner of that bit, just so I have a little bit of space for glue. And this time I'm actually going to glue in the head and there, and some little other bits that we can do. Do I have some tweezers? I thought I brought some tweezers around to use. I can't see it. Just a bit delicate parts. Sometimes I like to use tweezers, but I do not have it. So, alright, hope if I actually got it on straight. Fairly straightforward. That just went right in. Yeah, it didn't even feel like it went in, but geez, that sounds like something I've heard in my high school days. Alright, all good. So now we need to put on this. So it goes there, it looks like it's going to slide in, not too difficult, but I just want to cut a little bit off. Just a little bit, there we go. And I think I might actually glue it from here. Alright, that might be a bit too much, but we'll see. So I'm doing it, it's a weird angle. Oh, no, that was easy, that just went straight in. Okay, what I might also do, just a little bit of glue there, maybe a little bit more. Just on the boot, because it seems to connect to the boot, it seems like a good contact point. Okay. Ah, glorious. I love it. So I was debating whether I should put the shield on, and now it's glued in. I kind of wish I didn't put it in. Simply because there is a lot of detail in here that is somewhat difficult to get to. Like you have the back of the shield, you have that part of the, ooh, get back there. you have that part of the armor, some parchment, and just a whole bunch of other stuff in here. It's not impossible, but it really depends on how you like to paint. I would have preferred not to stick that on, but I think it'll be okay. There's a lot of detail in there that you're not really going to see too much. But yeah, it's definitely a personal preference. Yeah. That's fine though. We'll deal with it. So now we need to do the base and then the backpack. So like I said, we are going to use the big chunky base with the dead Necron on it. So there's a few more steps involved in that one. So we need part D12, which is the big base. We need D13, which is the dead Necron. So again, this one is a little bit flimsy because it is a dead Necron. And we also need D14, which is the extra little bits. So I'm just seeing the best way to cut that off. So it's a fiddly little bit. So you just want to be a little bit gentle with it. Alright, so let's clean this puppy up. So generally this isn't too bad. Scrape all that off. And we will get rid of that bit there. And I don't think it really matters if you dig too much in. I kind of like this way of doing a base. It's kind of cool. I like it. Alright. Necron. And it has the pegs as well to peg into the base when we're done. I love it. I haven't put together a model for a while. Okay, so this arm is somewhat flimsy, so it's not too bad, and this is definitely something to take care of when you're doing the other Necrons, which we will go through at some point. So what are we at? We're almost at half an hour, so it is taking about half an hour to do, but that's fine. My plan is not to edit this down. I was considering that, but I want to do it in a way that if you're interested in following along, you can. And also to show that, anything that I come across, some pointers, things like that. So there's a few mold lines there, nothing too major. And this is part of the base, so you can kind of get away with not showing too much. Okay, and the last little nubbly bit. This shouldn't be too difficult. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, and I think we're just going to clean that bit up there. There's probably some mold lines and sprue lines, but it's not too bad. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do first, I think the best way is to plug it into the sprue itself, into the base. So I'm just thinking it's a pretty tight fit, so you're going to definitely glue it down. So let's go some glue around the edge. So I don't want to put too much glue on the edge here because it'll spill out a bit, but there's plenty of contact points that you can put glue on. Okay, and let's stick this in. Easy. So I like that kind of base. That's nice. Yep, all good. Now the Necron bits. So it looks like it goes on the same peg. There is a hole. There is no hole. Oh yeah, there it is. It's very difficult to see. So it goes on that. There's a little hole about there. I don't know if you can see it. It's probably under my finger. So you can put it in there. That's what we're going to do. So how does that work though? So it looks like it's meant to go on together. I'm just trying to determine how that works. It's a little strange. So looks like there may be some extra bits, a little hole somewhere. Can't actually tell because it seems to be based on here. It looks like it that D14 sec bit goes underneath the Necron and then slides in. But I can't really see how that's meant to work. If that's meant to go there. Might not even need to put it in there. So I'm not 100% sure. Possibly. Okay, it's an option. So it looks like you can do either or, but we're doing the neck one. So let's just do that. So we'll put some glue in. And I think there's some glue on the arm. We'll just chuck some on there and see what happens. We can always shove some more glue in there. And the hole was there. Beautiful. Okay. So that was 2 separate parts. I didn't realize that. I think that could have been a bit clearer. Alright. And the final bit, I am not going to be worried too much about the holes here, because it'll go right in. So it takes a little bit of a push, but then it goes in. A little bit of glue coming out, and there we go. It is a pretty good model. So another point, you may not want to glue it onto the base straight away. You may want to paint it first. I think that will probably be the better way to do it, but it is a really cool model. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed building it. That was fairly easy, not really difficult at all. Yeah, it's a good one. So thank you for watching, and if you are interested in more of them, there are plenty more. Definitely subscribe and hit that bells to get that. Like it, leave a comment to see if you've put it together and if you had any problems, and if you found this follow along easy, because it was kind of fun. So I'm planning to do this for all of the models in the kit. For the squads I may do a little bit less, just do one of them just to get the idea, but you know, it's kind of fun. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.